I made the mistake of rewatching the Dark Knight Returns animated movie last night. Might have been a big mistake. Hi everyone, welcome to One Six Figure Focus, and in this video, I'm a bit late on this one, but in this video I'm going to take a look at the newly announced, well, it's okay, this announcement's about a week old, the announced Hot Toys 1/6 scale Batman from the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel, comic, and I suppose animated show or animated movie. Not really a show, but yeah. Look, this is the Dark Knight Returns. I don't claim to be a massive graphic novel or comic book reader or an expert. Definitely not. But my collecting habit, my collecting hobby, and my collection, it's rooted in my love of TV, movies, cinema, TV programs. Not at all in computer games because I don't play them, or comic books because I've only read certain ones. How I approach graphic novels and comics is, number one, I respect that a lot of the movies that I love, that whether I've loved as a kid or even that are still coming out now, really top quality good movies like Batman '89 or The Dark Knight or Iron Man or Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame. They all originated, Watchmen, great one. They all originated on pages of a book, in a comic or a graphic novel or something like that. So someone had to write the story, someone else then had to be illustrator, do the wording, and someone else then had to. I think that's pretty much it. There's usually like a writer, then there's someone who does the artwork, or maybe a team, usually 1-2 people or something like that. And I think I've often seen graphic novels and comics where someone who does the lettering is credited separately then for little boxes and stuff like that. But anyway, basically when I see a movie that I love, that I have a connection to, that really entertained me, that I just kind of I want to get that on DVD at the time back in the day, or 4K or a streaming service, and I want to rewatch it, that it entertains me, that kind of gift that keeps on giving, that like a 5-star album. Like if you listen to, I don't know what you like, but if I sit down and I listen to, I wouldn't be sitting down if I was listening to this. If I listened to Smashing Pumpkins, Siamese Dream, Queens of the Stone Age, Rated or Tool, Anima, or well, most Tool albums, Deftones, Around the Fur, Explosions in the Sky, The Earth Is Not a Cold Dead Place, Nirvana, Nevermind, whatever. No matter what mood I'm in, Rage Against the Machine's first album, not sure if I mentioned that already. No matter what mood I'm in, if I listen to those albums, they always hit the mark. Just fantastic stuff. Just great music. Bon Iver, second album. So when I'm talking about them movies that are like 5-star for me, that have that rewatchability. When I see a movie like that and I love it, and if I've told that it's rooted in the character is rooted in comics, and the director quotes comic book A, B, and C as direct influences. For example, Batman Begins Year One was a direct influence. The Dark Knight, then Killing Joke, Arkham Asylum, and then The Dark Knight Rises. Well, there's definitely aspects of The Dark Knight Returns that were in that. I mean, you have an aging Bruce Wayne that comes out of retirement. Granted, Bane wasn't in The Dark Knight Returns, but he's in The Dark Knight Rises. And of course then BVS Superman. While I don't think it's a great movie, I did like the bit when the two boys actually fought each other right up to the where, the whole Martha thing. Because I thought it was quite well done, the fight, and how it shows Batman, I've said this multiple times, Batman preparing to carry the extra weight of the armoured suit because he got himself hit CrossFit Batman. There's that scene where Ben Affleck is training, we joke and say, but I joke anyway, CrossFit Batman, because, okay, Ben Affleck was an absolute unit in that movie, but it kind of showed that he was anticipating carrying the extra weight of the armoured suit, and then he went and spent a load of money to get this kryptonite at the bottom of the sea, and then he used that to make capsules for little kind of smoke grenades, and of course the kryptonite spear. Anyway, I wanted to see how that worked, and of course The Dark Knight Returns, they pretty much have that at the end of this. We have that Batman versus Superman, and it's quite well done. So a lot of these comic books that I have in my collection, the graphic novels I have in my collection, for example, I have Year One, I have Batman The Long Halloween, The Dark Knight Returns, I've got The Killing Joke, Arkham Asylum, I think I've got Infinity War as well, Watchmen, these just stuff, seen the movies, these were influences that the directors quoted as in, like, they used these comic books and these stories to kind of inspire them, and I like seeing what the director picks and chooses, what makes the final cut and what doesn't. So that's a very, very long intro. If you're still watching, good for you. But yeah, I don't collect comic book representations of the characters. Mine are live action. All my figures, they're live action. They're from a movie, like a TV program. They're not animated. But I gotta say, The Dark Knight Returns is such a good story, and I have read it and reread it a few times. I have it there over there on the shelf, and I've downloaded the animated movie counterpart. The great thing about iTunes, you can get all this stuff, and it's just like, they're all there. There's so many of them. It's actually a slippery slope. But I rewatched that again last night, and I just love it. I just think it's a great story, very well done. I really like the concept of an old, aging Bruce Wayne who's kind of pissed off, and he's annoyed that Gotham has gone to shit, and he's still, it's funny how he's still an absolute unit of a man. But yeah, I'm going to take a look at this. I'm not all in on this. I'm not committing to this, but the wheels are turning. Again, it's just nice to have like that nod to the original source materials, because if it wasn't for the comics, as much as my collection and my love of movies and my collection's rooted in my love of movies and TV show, all these characters, a lot of these characters wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the story writers and the illustrators who put pen to paper, ink to paper to first create these characters. It's kind of amazing when you think about it, so it's nice to get that respect. This looks good, but it looks good in certain angles. The first thing I want to do, I'm going to flick through all of these. I think this is $255 if I do believe, and I like to start off with this. So what does it come with? So this is the Batman 1/6 scale collectible figure from Batman The Dark Knight Returns. There are multiple looks now in the movie. At the end he had the armored version. There's also the part of the movie where I believe he's wearing the blue cowl and cape, and it's heavily battle damaged. I'm pretty sure that's it. Also, I noticed in this as well, the Batmobile is huge. It's like an absolute armored tank. I reckon Nolan took a bit of inspiration from that, because it makes sense to that the Nolan verse Batmobile, instead of like being an 89 or even a 22, was like an armored assault vehicle. That made perfect sense. It was more practical, more real world. Obviously, the one in this is an absolute huge machine, but yeah. So what does it come with? It comes with a newly developed body that portrays Batman's muscular physique. Yeah, definitely a man's yoked up. Cape equipped with bendable wire. Hot Toys capes are terrible. I really hope that they do better on this one. Masked head with 3 interchangeable lower faces. That smiling sculpt kind of cracks me up a bit. I watched it last night. When I first saw this announced, I was like, I don't remember him doing that face. And then when I rewatched it last night, I didn't catch it. Now I was kind of like doing a bit of work, and I only had one eye on it, but maybe I need to watch it a third time, and I'd be open to that because it's pretty bloody good. Watch The Long Halloween over Halloween as well, very good. I have that, and Hush, great stuff. You got the rifle as well from that scene with the helicopters. You've got a batarang, 4 different batarangs in the kind of the batarang with the rope on the end of it. The base, not gone in this particular style of base. I think it came with Iron Man Mark 1, and a few swap out hands. I did think this could possibly be branded Hono Studios. There, a bit of a slip there. So I thought this was going to be branded Hono, and I wonder how many people are going to comment about that. But anyway, I thought this was branded Hono Studios. Taking a closer look at it, like, I don't know, I can see the argument that people are saying that Hono do all this kind of stuff for $160, but then other people are saying that this body would be better and the tailoring would be better. I don't know. If this was $160, I think people would be through the roof about it. I think a lot of people are through the roof about it anyway. But yeah, look, I just want to flick through some of these images and take a look at it, because it looks better in some images than others. I'm noticing here the knees are really dirty here, and there's no split cut boot. That's definitely a bad thing. I look at the cape there. It seems to be weathered at the end. I wonder, will this weathering translate into final product, or will they potentially dial back down on the weathering, get a cleaner look? I gotta say, I don't know. I really like the blue and grey look. I think maybe I'd prefer that, and I'm a sucker for battle damage stuff, but The 3 different mouth plates, I definitely remember the first, sorry, the middle and the right, but not so much the first. I need to take another look at that movie and see if I can remember him doing that. And maybe he does at some point. I like the kind of dirt and the weathering on the utility belt. That's pretty good. The muscular body looks pretty good, although I do think he looks stumpy in certain shots. Maybe a little bit there. I think this is going to be pretty big. He's a pretty tall guy in the animated movie. It does look a bit kind of frumpy. In my head, he was this build but taller, like a bit more broader on the shoulders and a bit narrower. I know the animated, I'm not talking about the Batman the animated series. I know that was basically triangular Batman, huge jaw, huge shoulders, tiny waist, skipping leg day type of thing. And it was cool because it was just that style of drawing, that style of animation, where this guy was like a Hulk. He was like a big, burly, kind of muscular Batman, but I did think he was maybe a bit wider on the shoulders and a bit taller. That's my point. Whereas this seems a bit more, reminds me a bit more like the Batfleck Batman. Like it's kind of Batman, you know, they need to make jokes, used to call him Fatfleck and stuff like that. I've seen people do that, but yeah, Ben Affleck's not my Batman. But this looks great there. So again, certain angles, I think it might come down to be one of these figures that comes down to how you pose it. Looks good there. I don't think I'd use the gun. Batman and the gun just never sits right with me. And I know that they're including this rifle because this is in one of the scenes. Again, it's the scenes with the choppers. Remember, actually, I think he does this in the movie, and I'm pretty sure he does this in the movie. He has a bunch from in his hands. I can't remember what scene it is. I know that the Joker ends up at one of these in the eye at the end. I'm not sure if it's that scene. This is cool. They're kind of recreating the comic cover. Which one was it? I thought there was a better version than that. Maybe it's something like that. But yeah, I see what they're going for there. Like, you know, one of the versions of the comic book cover had that. Guy's huge. Yeah. I think that's pretty cool, even though they're using the rifle here, and I'd probably never used that. I think that looks pretty cool. So yeah, I don't know about this one. I think this one has caused quite a stir because diehard comic book fans have been wanting this for ages, and you know, I'm happy for them. I'm not sure about this one. I shouldn't. This isn't really in my lane, but I do really like the Dark Knight Returns, and it's nice to kind of give a nod and gesture, just have a kind of a comic book accurate version. But yeah, look, that's the end of the video. If you want to support the channel, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. By the way, I consider becoming a channel member, up to 28 channel members now. The Hope Show should be returning next Monday. You can also follow me on Instagram and follow me on X. That's it. That's the end of the video. See you in the next one. Good luck.